And here we are again, back in my lovely room with my lovely new table and the counter to the Union Army, my Confederate Army based around 1st Corps of the Army of Northern Virginia. So as before, we'll start again at the beginning with the Army Command. Here we see, whereas we had Meade in the last one, today we have Bobby Lee and a plethora of generals. These all can act as brigade commanders for when I play guns and Fire and Fury Regimental. So shifting around, we come to Commander of the 1st Corps. Oop, too far. Commander of the 1st Corps. Commander of the 1st Corps. Longstreet, plus his corps guns. Then 1st Division of Hood, with 2 guns and 4 brigades. Including Blue Moon Texans. Then we have 2nd Division under McLaw with guns and 4 brigades of infantry. And at the back we have Pickett. Now for the Gettysburg Orbat he only had 3 brigades. So what I managed to do was acquire myself 2 more brigades to basically add in for the troops that were at the time stationed in Richmond. In the back corner as an extra we have my Rebel hospital set, and then we have, one moment, around here we have the, I suppose you could call them army guns, including a couple of commanders and a couple of excess regiments, one of Zouaves and another of, that's a generic Rebel infantry. Then we move on to General J.E.B. Stewart with his horse gun and his various regiments of cavalry, or in this case, because generally this will be used as regiments of cavalry or as brigades. So we have the Black Hats, the Texas Chasseurs à Cheval, plus in the back their dismounts, and then what I consider to be what I would probably classify simply as generic Rebel cavalry. So no particular regiment or specialisation, they're simply grey coated with yellow markings as befits cavalry, Rebel cavalry. And in Fire and Fury they get that lovely +1 on the charge because they're rebels, and then another +1 because they're cavalry. Fun story about that one. A friend of mine who had never used cavalry playing a Fire and Fury game had, because I placed the cavalry regiment on the field, so he went, oh, I'll use that, and then he went looking at it and realised how awesome cavalry were, seeing as they gained a +1 for being rebels and a +1 for being cavalry on the charge and everything like that. So he suddenly went, why have I never used cavalry before? And I went, I don't know, they're really good. What we'll do now is we'll just have a go through 1st Division and I'll show you some of the different figures and that I've used. So artillery and commander figures are, I believe, Peter Pig, as is much of this unit. Again, they are a mixture of Peter Pig and Essex miniatures. These figures from Hood's are Hood's Texans from Blue Moons. The vast bulk of the troops I have in this army are Peter Pig and Essex miniatures, with the exclusion of these guys. These were not painted by myself but were purchased as they are. I haven't rebased them because I quite like the basing, and it's 1 inch wide, which will do the job. I bought these from a young lady at Crisis who was selling off what she said was her father's collection, who had a rather large collection of American Civil War stuff. This was unfortunately all I could really afford, so at the time, because I'd spent a lot of money on other stuff, and I do believe these are Old Glory figures, so if someone wants to correct me on that one, they can please feel free. And as I said, the vast majority of the troops here are various Peter Pig with, Peter Pig and a number of Essex miniatures mashed together to form regiments. As with the Union Army that I have, it was originally 3 bases with 2 base cavalry. That hasn't changed, they've just been rebased onto 1 by 1.5 inches, I think, with the cavalry supply column. Got to have something to carry my shoes and food. I ended up acquiring again a large amount of troops with an inheritance, so I rebased everything, reorganised everything, and managed to get my hands on a few extras just to bulk out the last of the units. The cavalry regiments are a little bit sparse, if you might notice. There's a couple of smaller regiments than they are compared to their Confederate, their Union counterparts, but they still give as good as they get. One major difference, of course, is the fact that I actually have got proper market flags for my Confederates, though Bobby Lee does travel around with a stars and bars. So in general, this force is organised again around the Confederate orbit of Fire and Fury for Gettysburg, with the addition of about an extra 3 or 4 brigades worth of troops for the purposes of playing things like guns at Gettysburg. The conversion is essentially all the brigades become regiments, divisions become brigades, and this essentially turns into one large division, or possibly 2 small divisions, giving me a corps of sorts. The cavalry again essentially becomes 2 brigades, and the guns can be doled out into smaller numbers, as you're noticing that there are only 2 guns with each division. These will normally get buddied up together and become 2 or 3 batteries, giving me quite a powerful Confederate force for use on the field. With the Union, again, 3 corps will essentially turn into 1 large division, or 2 small divisions, which allows me to still field a corps of worth of forces. Hang on, that didn't make any sense. Union forces, 3 corps becomes 3 divisions, which turns into a corps. Yeah, but I can rejig it. Yeah, no, I was right. And I can rejig it over, and it becomes a corps worth of force because I have 2 divisions. Same here, 2 divisions becomes a corps, so on and so forth. Depends what I'm playing, depends how into it we're going, so on and so forth. As an example of what I actually have here, I would like to bring you to General Brigade Guns at Gettysburg by Mr. David Brown, and one of the scenarios in said book. If I can find it. Where is you? Not Fredericksburg. Antietam, there we go. So, Antietam, opening attack. You just have a good look at that orbit for the Confederate forces. I field that. Everything there comes from my Confederate forces. And then over the other side with the Union forces, where you've got, again, quite a large number of troops. I can run all of that as well. And I have actually managed to do this game where it was myself, my father-in-law Dave, and a friend Trav. We basically buddied up, myself and Trav. Weirdly, we ended up playing as Confederates because Trav didn't want to play as the Union ever. He doesn't like playing as Americans, or I should say the Yankees. I wanted to play as the Yankees. I didn't want to play as the Yankees because I always played as the Yankees, so I wanted to play as the Greycoats. And so Dave ended up playing alone and commanding about a corps, about good solid division's worth of troops, which was not hard for the man, but it was a lot for him to deal with, when I probably should have taken half the forces and run that half of the army. But hey, that's my fault. Silly stories aside, I do believe that is everything. If anyone has any questions or any queries about anything, please drop me a message, leave a comment, blah 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 blah, and I will see you in the next one.